What's up, guys? Today we are playing an Epic 7. I knew it was going to be a good day. We are going to summon Lionheart Cermia from the Moonlight Headhunting event. We're going to build her, we're going to gear her, and then we are going to go destroy faces. Stick around, I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do it. It's going to be a great time. I can't wait. The Moonlight Headhunting event has been a very interesting event. I do really like it. They gave us an amazing opportunity to get the hero that we want, but I started super late. As you can see, I only have 8 days left, and I just got to the recruitment today, but it doesn't matter because all I wanted was Lionheart Cermia. She's here, I got her off a dupe, and it's going to be fantastic. So, what I want to do, let's do it. Is this her name? That's her name. Let's do the recruit. Is that it? That was it. Okay. That was very that that wasn't very cool. She's in here. There we go. Oh, we get a little cutscene. Okay. Little summon
Die on
scene.
the battlefield or conquer the world. It's a 50-50 shot. Are you ready to bet it all on the gamble of a lifetime?
Yes, I am. Now, in order to really utilize Lionheart Cermia, I need to figure out how to build her. And the problem is that I don't have any kind of defensive units that are really going to be high in damage and do what she does. So I went into the internet, the mystical, magical place where all things exist, and I found what I would consider to be probably one of the best Lionheart Cermias I've ever seen. So she is on lifesteal, which apparently is pretty popular. 2000 defense, which is a good defense amount for an attack based build. She has HP, she has speed, she has crit damage, she has everything that we need. We're not going to be using this artifact, but I could always go into it if I need to. So we're going to utilize this as our model. Now, next up, we have our handy dandy little spreadsheet here. This is where I really want to emphasize what kind of gear it might take to build up this hero. This is not something I do every time, but it is something that I can utilize to show you what kind of gear score you might need and what kind of things that I might be looking for in a crafting item in order to build this hero. So first up, we have all of our base stats here on the left, and then we have in our Proof of Valor artifact and our imprint since we got her all the way to triple S. Next, I took our goal, that lifesteal gear hero, and I stuck it over here. I'm not really concerned with the attack, but I did put it in here for emphasis. What I am interested in is the HP and the defense, which will be quite hard. So as we're going through, we realize that it will be a lifesteal set, so there isn't going to be a speed set. Trying to get 16 speed per piece, probably going to be very hard. So I anticipate that we're going to have to use speed boots. The next thing is we're definitely going to have to use a defense-based ring, and then very likely we'll be using a crit damage necklace. So now we're getting kind of a better idea of what we can hope for. I very likely will not get to 209. So, if we get anywhere to 180, I think that'll be good. But as we can see, we're going to need every piece to be 23% defense and 17% HP with some manner of crit chance, crit damage, and speed, which is quite a lot. I've got 5 stats here, which is, you can only get 4 stats on a piece, right? 5 stats. So let's see what kind of gear we can make and what kind of gear we can put on her based on what we already have. That will be very good. Lionheart Cermia. Wily little minx, right? Let's see what we have in our life steal gear. Now, I'm not sure. I don't really farm a lot of life steal. As you can see, we cannot get a defense percent onto our weapon. So this is primarily where we're going to want to pull in some HP. We're also going to want to pull in some sort of crit chance, crit damage, and speed. For our helmets, we do have 12% crit damage, but no crit chance. And we have 26%. So that one, pretty good. Here we have a 30% with a 10 crit chance, also very good. This one has less defense, but we pull in more crit damage. So let's start with this and then move on from there. I do have an okay necklace here. I don't have any ring, and I don't have any boot. Let's look at what we have for our weapons. I might have to craft something. So let's see. Health, attack. Okay, this one's really good crit chance. And then we have, oh, this one's really nice. So what we want is we want to have that because we can't get defense, right? We want to pull in some more health, crit chance, crit damage, speed. I think that one is going to be nice. So we already have a really good start here. Let's enter these pieces into our spreadsheet and see what we need to get out of the ring and out of the boots next. So now that we have all of our gear entered in the spreadsheet, we can see that we're way too heavy onto crit chance and we're not enough into defense and into HP. With just one piece remaining on defense, I would need 35%, which is basically going to be 4 or 5 rolls to get that amount. It's not very likely at all. We also see that I need 57% more HP. Now, because we are using a defense based ring, we would need to have something like 25, 28% on each one of these, and it's just not realistic. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to erase this helmet and try and get something that's a little more likely. So 22% defense from the HP or from the helmet and from the boots is a lot more, it's easier to get. Some 71% between 3 pieces is like 20%. So if I can get 20% on defense, 20% on HP, then we're good to go on those. Then we're probably not going to meet this speed goal. It just takes a ton of gear score to be able to do it, and I haven't been rolling this kind of gear, and I definitely have not been rolling to get lifesteal gear because I don't have anyone who's been using it. Meeting the crit chance threshold should be really easy since we have that imprint, and then we don't need too much more onto the crit damage in order to meet that 271. Definitely doable. It's going to be fun. Let's go make our last 3 pieces and see what we can come up with. Next up, we are going to go into our crafting event. Now, this is an amazing opportunity for you to craft a perfect piece of gear in the set that you want. It's open for about a month and it comes around every 45 to 60 days or so. It's probably my favorite event. It's amazing. As you can see, I used 58,000 energy so far to be able to craft this event. Now, what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to utilize this ring. I have a defense ring. It rolled amazing into pretty much everything. So I need something to complement this. You would usually use this on someone that is a bruiser type build or someone that you want to run high defense base. So something like a Spectre Tenebria, because she has a low base HP, that stacking defense is much better on her. You could also run this on something like a Mercedes, and it's going to do a pretty good job, but you want to make sure that you stack up enough subs in other places to achieve the type of attack and crit damage that you want on your build. For me, I'm thinking Lionheart Cermia. Now, I know it's a little counterproductive because you lose 10% of your health, but I'm thinking that because it's a really awesome defense-based ring, that this will work really good on Lionheart or potentially another defense-based bruiser type build like Arya, something like that. So we're going to go in, we're going to craft a pair of boots, and we're going to use those boots with this ring on Torrent set. So what we want to do is we want to go for the type of gear that we need. We're going for very specific gear, but if you don't want anything very specific, go for something that's very broad based, maybe something that you don't farm often. I like penetration set. This works out really well. Also, if you need rage set, this is a great place to get it as well. I am going to go for torrent set. I am going to go for boots. You don't want to craft weapon, helmet, armor, because these are going to be very plentiful when you're crafting your gear. This is the type of gear that you can craft using your epic mileage, and it's going to work much better than getting it here in this spot. And then, I pretty much only use speed. So at this point, I don't roll a ton of speed on the substat, and so speed on the boots is really how you make up for it. Now we're after very specific gear, right? We want something that's going to be defense. We want something that's going to be crit chance, damage, and then something on the bottom. So let's see what we get. As we go through, you want to make sure that you're really only picking up things that have a good amount of the percentages, but also in the stats that you want. So something like this, right? We have crit damage with no crit on a speed pair of boots. There's not a ton of heroes that you want to pull in that don't have crit damage and crit chance together. Something like a Zeo or a Zahak, this might work, but you're not going to be able to stack your crit set because you have torrent set. Those heroes are going to want speed. So while these are really high rolls, it's not the combination that you really want to be able to develop a strong hero, right? That's kind of what we're after in this situation. How do we develop a really strong hero utilizing the heroes that we want to use, the stats that they need, and the sets that we want? Really nice piece. This piece can work out quite well for a lot of different heroes. A lot of different heroes. Let's keep this one. Now, just because we're rolling for Lionheart Cermia doesn't mean we're going to get it, right? So we want to keep going with what the game is giving us and then hope that we get the substats that we want. Something that is crit damage attack, that's going to work on just a ton of heroes. If this effectiveness were defense, I think that would be optimal. But that's still a really high starting piece. Let's keep going. Let's see what we get. Most of your torrent sets are going to be on attack-based heroes. Because it's lowering the amount of HP that you have, that you don't want to use it on a bruiser type build. You basically want to use it on glass cannon, someone who's going to be doing a ton of damage and isn't really meant to live. Arbiter Vildred comes to mind. He would be an amazing glass cannon, of course, and that's a good hero to use a torrent set on. As you're crafting this gear, sometimes what you want is just impossible. You're going against the random number generator, which means that you have to have it not only roll the substats you're looking for, but they have to be decent substats as well. Having this piece on the right, max roll into defense, very near the max roll into attack, max roll into crit, max roll into crit damage. This is an amazing, amazing piece, and it's exactly what we're looking for. I took about 20,000 points to craft this piece. How this rolls, we could use this in a variety of ways. If it rolls all the crit damage, crit chance, well, that's perfect. If it doesn't roll anything into crit chance and it rolls into crit damage and attack, that's going to be just fine on a Zeo, on a Zahak, on plenty of heroes that maybe we can utilize an imprint or we can utilize something else to give us that extra crit chance. If it rolls all into defense, all into crit damage, attack, whatever, then we can put this on either a bruiser type build where we're trying to make them bulky through the defense, something like a Mercedes or something like a Spectre Tenebria. Or we can use it on something like a Lionheart Cermia or a damage-based designer Lilibet. Someone who uses defense as a main stat, but will also benefit from the attack sub. Some people don't know this, but when you have a HP-based hero or a defense-based hero, they still receive a damage multiplier increase by their attack percent. So this means that if you have a Shu, or an Apocalypse Ravi, or a Designer Lilibet, or a Lionheart Cermia, they are going to get more damage from attack, even though their skills are HP or defense or something other than attack based. The same thing goes for like a Green Sid. It says that he will do more damage based on speed, which is great, but he will also do a ton of damage on an attack-based build because every hero in the game gets damage from their attack stat. Now, I'm not going to worry about it. This is exactly the piece that I wanted. It rolled fantastic. I'm just going to select it right now. I'm not going to roll 38,000, hoping for max rolls on everything. If I had maybe a 5 or a 6 crit damage and a 5 and a 6 attack, then you know what? I would keep going. But this is very close to the max roll in substats that you could possibly get. We have an 8 into defense and an 8 into attack. That gives us a 15. 15 plus 7 is 22, and 22 plus 7 is 29. That's amazing. My goal is to have a 24 or a 25 before you even start the piece. This will enable us to potentially roll, a couple of minimal stats, minimal sub rolls, and still have a really fantastic piece. So let's go ahead. We're going to select it. We're going to confirm it. We're going to craft it. Lock that thing down. Now let's go in and enhance it. This turns out to be an amazing, amazing piece. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and start to do my enhancing. Now, typically what I do is I will come in and do a couple, first, because I'm trying to gauge whether I want to keep going with it. Now, I know that this is going to be really great. It was a 7, which was a max roll, and then it turned out with a 6, which is pretty good, right? We want to make sure we're averaging at least a 5 or a 6 in crit damage amongst all of your rolls. I also want to average a 6 into attack and defense, and I want to average at least a 3 to a 4 into crit chance. Now, because my subs, are very wide, if it doesn't roll into crit, that's perfectly fine, but I do want at least one roll into crit damage. So let's see. We're going to see how much this rolls going forward as well. And let's go ahead and use this piece. Plus 12 piece. I was saving it. Let's use it. Okay, so we rolled a 6 and then a 7 into crit damage. That's fantastic. Then we rolled a plus 3 into crit, which isn't ideal, but we're averaging out to 4, right? 5 plus 3 is 8, and that equals a 4 on each one. Let's see what we get into our next. 7 into defense. That's perfect. This is turning out to be fantastic. You can still use this on an attack-based hero, even though it rolled into defense. Ideally, what I wanted is to get a 20 into defense after my reforging. So I started with 8, and you reforge, that will give you a plus 1. I rolled once, and that will give me a plus 3 after reforging. So this is an 18, which is great. What I want to see now is a defense roll or a crit damage roll. That would be, I think, ideal. Here we go. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be awesome. Well, not awesome yet. We're getting close. We're getting there. Anticipation. Come on, bro. Oh my gosh. I can't, I can't believe that we just did that. Plus 7 and then a plus 8. The gear score on this, off the charts. At a plus 15, I want to get about a 55 gear score. Now, on a speed pair of boots, because we don't have a speed substat, we can, get a little bit less. But we want to be within a couple of percent of that. This piece, This piece is nice. 20 plus 23 is 43, plus 8 is a 50. And then we have, let's say, a 12 from here. That makes a 62. So we are way above what we thought we were going to be rolling into this piece. That's fantastic. And here we go right here. Man, very nice. Now let's take an example here. What if it didn't roll into defense here? Now we really want this for our Lionheart Cermia. You can use it on an Arya. You can use it on a lot of different heroes. But let's say it rolled all into attack. Even though we have a defense substat, having a defense and an attack substat allows us to pivot. We had an idea for Lionheart Cermia. We wanted defense, but having that attack allows us to pivot. If this was, let's say, a penetration set, then maybe you'd want a defense and an HP, or defense, attack, or attack and HP. It allows you to pivot. You could also go something like defense, attack, HP, crit chance. Now, crit damage does offer you more benefit because that allows you to go into a variety of different builds. But if you had an attack, defense, HP, crit chance with really good substats, let's say 7, 8 in all of them, and a 5 crit, that's going to be amazing because no matter how it rolls, it's versatile. If it rolled all into HP, all into defense, all into attack, even if it rolled one time into each one, that's still a very versatile piece that you can use in a lot of your hero builds. For this one though, we're locking it down. This is going to be great. Now we just have to finish out the rest of our pieces. We're down to our last piece of gear, and she's looking pretty good so far. So as you can see, we are over into attack, and that's because our ring and our boots both ran into attack, which is okay. And what we can do here is if we're really committed to Lionheart, we can maybe reforge this a little bit into HP, we can reforge this attack into crit damage, and then we'll make up a lot of that ground. But don't forget that an attack base does offer more damage onto defense-based heroes or HP-based heroes, so don't forget that this is not a wasted stat. You're still going to get more damage, but you do have to sacrifice some of that bulk, and it just depends on where you're at. When I'm first building a hero like this, I really want to make sure that I'm going to use them and enjoy them as much as I think that I am, so I'm not going to mess with it. What I want to do is I want to test, and I want to possibly do some revisions to the gear to adjust and then look at modifications. Because once you mod out this attack, then you're never going to get it back. You might want this on a future hero that has really good defense that you want to be bulky but still do damage, and now those stats are gone. So that's really my last resort. On this helmet, we can see that we can pick up 17% or more into defense. We can pick up a good 20% into HP. We can pick up some crit and some crit damage. In my opinion, I have to have this crit. It has to be 100%. I would like to pick up the crit damage, and I would like to pick up some defense and some speed. This HP, because I'm on torrent set sort of accidentally, that I don't really want to invest a ton in HP because it's going to get reduced in the end anyway when you enter in the battle. So as we're going in and we're trying to craft this gear, that's the kind of gear that I want. I want a lifesteal helmet, defense, speed, crit chance, crit damage, right? I'm not asking for too much. And let's try and make them high rolls as well so that we can reforge it and not feel guilty. Gearing Lionheart is tough. I spent the morning using 15,000 materials and also 10 epic rolls using that gear mileage, and to be honest, I didn't get a lot. So we're going to roll a little bit of gear here and kind of see how it works out. Now, I didn't get a defensive stat on this, and I didn't get a defensive stat on that either. We do have a couple of pieces that might work. So let's first start with the defense piece, and then we'll go into our next pieces. Now this one has a 4 into crit chance, the max is 5, and a 7 to defense, the max is, I think, 8? The max is 8. So this is pretty close to a max piece. What we want to see here is I don't want to see any crit because we already have the roll that we need. I'd like to see it go 3 times into defense. That would be nice. But guaranteed not to happen. So let's just hope for the best. Okay, tiny roll into speed. Pretty sure this one's gonna be dead. Guess I do need this piece here. Okay, and a 4. So we get a 3 and a 3. No defense on this piece. If we can roll something like a +7 into defense on our +9 roll, and then we can get another roll into defense at +15, then this could be an okay piece. Let's see what this rolls into at our +9. It's exactly what we didn't want. So while this isn't a bad gear score, it's not what we wanted. It doesn't improve what we've already got. So we have 10, which gives us 20, and we have an 8, which is 12. So this is 32. +7 is 39, which is right where I want to be at +9 on the heroic piece. I would like to be somewhere at about 43 if this were an epic piece, but again, we don't see that roll at +7. I have a better piece that I rolled, a long time ago that's just been kind of sitting in storage, but let's see what we can get out of a different set. Now on this one here, we don't see any defense. So automatically what I'm going to want out of this piece is pretty much going to be crit damage, right? That's what I want to see here. Okay, and we get 2 mid rolls into speed, not something that I'm going to want out of that one. And then I guess next up, that leaves only these 2 last pieces. So we know that this rolled into a 39. At a +12 here, we see that this one is going to roll a little bit better. One, because it's epic, but two, because it rolled into some stats. So we have an 8 into our health. We have a 6 into effect resist, which I'm going to want to change into crit. Then we get 20 out of speed and 15 in defense, which puts us at a 49. That other piece of gear that we had that gave us a 39, assuming we rolled a +6 into something useful like into health or into crit damage, then that's going to give us a 45. So this piece is 4 ahead, which isn't amazing, but it isn't terrible either. I think what we do is we're just going to have to develop this piece, put it on our hero for testing, and then try and get a better helmet in the future. So let's go ahead. We are going to take this one all the way to a +15. It'll be fun. I mean, maybe don't roll into effect resist. No more food. Okay, I'm overfeeding you. Don't roll into effect resist. Oh man, the one time you don't want speed, right? 3 rolls into speed, they were all super low. It's not fantastic. I really would like to have something a little bit better here. Ultimately, the gear score isn't bad. We have 8 +6 +24 +15. We rolled a 53. Where we want to be is 55, but I don't need him to be this fast. 3 rolls into speed. I needed more bulk. I needed to have some more defense. But 18%, that'll get us right to about where we want to be at our threshold for 2000. So let's go ahead and we're going to try and upgrade this piece in the future. 15 speed. I mean, 15 speed is not horrible. There are worse things. I need to have a 5. We get a 4. Okay. Okay. So we get a plus 0.2% chance to miss. That is, I mean, it's interesting. That means it's definitely going to miss. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you have a 0.2% chance, that will definitely miss at some point. But she looks good. Let's go into our spreadsheet and see just how far off we are so that we can make preparations to get better in the future. Here we are back at our spreadsheet, and we're looking at the hero that we built before we go into test. So we did get some really good rolls in some really good places, but we also fell short in certain areas. So for our defense, we wanted to have 2014 and we got 2020, which is right on target. We ended up with some more attack than we need, but that's okay because it's going to add some damage. We were 12% off in crit damage, and that's okay as well. One thing I could do is I could convert the attack into HP, and I could convert the attack here into crit damage, and maybe that would help, but I think that it's probably unnecessary since these two things also add into the damage calculation. One place that we really fell short was in HP. I did not intend to run a torrent set. Now, while that gives her more damage, it's also going to make her more squishy. So that means that I have to offset that with Perfect Valor, which we were going to try and do anyway based on the stats that we rolled. Now, also, because we have a helmet that rolled super high into the health, one thing that we might want to do is we might want to take her down to 157 speed and then put onto a HP based boots in the future. So that's something that I have to try and explore. Let's see how she does, how bulky she is based on this torrent set and based on the low amount of health that we have, and then I think we're going to adjust from here. Let's try her out. We're going to arena. I am on a 16 win streak, so just about time for me to break that anyway, which they never last forever. They never do. We're going to go and we're going to swap her into our defense team and see how that works. And we're also going to see if we can challenge some of these defenses. Now, the one that pops out to me is definitely this bottom defense. What we want to see is counter-attacking, right? We want to see that she is going to do amazing when we get counter-attacks. So this is a very typical team that I use. Berwana plus Crow plus a Celine. The damage here was usually coming from Celine, but now that we have Lionheart Cermia, I think that we're going to do okay. What I might want to do is bring in somebody who's dark and try and tank this out. This Celine, she's going to tank here, which will be fine. So let's go in and pull in a dark unit, and they'll be able to tank out the rest of these guys. Obviously, you could use a knight. You could use a lot of different heroes here. I'm not very worried about this. So, do I really need to bring in somebody super tanky? I don't really think so. Let's bring in APOC Ravi just for fun. You can use Dark Corvus, you can use ML Kawazu. There's a lot of heroes here that you can use. I really am interested in what Lionheart Cermia does and not what the rest of these guys
It's not
do.
my fault if you get hurt.
Now
Okay,
isn't the time
I
to
did not
hesitate.
bring in any sort of cleanse. I did that on purpose. I always say that when I make a mistake.
This is just the beginning.
But what we want to do is we want to kill the AOL first.
Don't ever ignore the power of someone. With something to protect.
My turn now.
Okay. She cannot use her S3 on turn 1. And that's because you need to have the fighting spirit. If they were to get a dual attack here, like if I got an extra attack from the Bellion, then she would be able to go, she'd be able to cleanse, she's going to buff, and she's also going to trigger this Celine. So let's see how that works.
I won't waste my breath on those unwilling to listen.
Not amazing yet. Oh, there's the dual attack.
Exhausted already?
There she
Get started in a
goes.
flash.
There she goes. And Crow is looking super sad right now, getting blasted. Oh, don't die. He's gonna die.
Come on, I'll take
That's
you all
okay.
down.
This is what we were waiting for. She has the defense, she has Torrent, she has 50% penetration. Let's see how much damage we can do. Keep in mind, too, that we do have a knight here.
A lion never relents. No matter how small its prey.
Okay, 5,000 on everyone, 10,000 on the knight. That wasn't too bad. And then she gets to go again. Now, what I want to do here is I need to be able to get, some sort of kill. So let's go ahead and go into her,
Ah, how
and then we're going to try and get the kill.
Well then, I think it's time for a little action.
Now, the reason I went for
If you're ready,
the
let's go.
Celine there is because I don't want her to kill Crow after he resurrects. Next up, we're going to go ahead and kill AOL.
I must be brave. May the light
I probably shouldn't heal there
free you from
because
despair.
Crow will get his horse next. And so I want to be able to use that.
Are you sure
But
you
it's
can
okay.
handle
We're
this?
still going to try. Only 2,000.
Fight. Grant me power.
But look at that.
Ashes
She's
to
ready to do
ashes.
the S3 again,
I'm
which
and
is really
impressed.
nice. Get the dual attack.
Shall I have a go?
Now with Crow, we're going to go ahead and open this up.
Step back.
Take this one off too. And then I'm expecting to get a kill on the next strike.
Need to do this myself.
I'll give you a taste of defeat. This is getting exciting. You're not half bad. My turn now.
7,000. They had the defense buff there. Not as much as I was hoping,
Illuminate the
honestly.
unknown.
I accept
I
your
thought this would be
blood as
more
an offer.
damage. I really did. Still, she worked great. I pulled her into a team with 2
I was
counter
born to be
units.
a hero.
We had Celine, who
By my
punishes the
destiny,
non-skill attack.
I will cut
We
you
also have
down.
AOL, who punishes the AoE. So even though we brought her into those 2, she was able to perform pretty easily. Now, I had a Ravi as a little bit of backup, but we can see how much damage she's doing in comparison to pretty much everyone else. Even though they killed Crow, she still did much more damage, and I think that's pretty amazing. Next up, we're going to bring her into Guild War, and we have a main tower. This is kind of the battle that I think that I would normally bring her into, so let's see how she does. Now on this bottom one here, we're going to go ahead and just bring Straws down, and I think that this will work just fine. The Straws, he'll get buffed up by Sahak, and then it's just kill, kill, kill. Now on the top team, we are going to try and bring her in. We also are going to bring in somebody who is going to work onto the Payra. Let's do it more like this. And then I need someone who's going to tank the Rimuru just in case he gets to go. So we're going to bring in Crow. I think it'll be fine. You know, who knows? Who knows if it really will be fine, but we're going to try it out.
Those seeking revenge must pay the price. I'd like to return now. I'm putting an end to this.
Oh man, is he gonna kill? He does. He does get the kill. Honestly, I didn't think that it would happen. I thought for sure that they weren't going to kill her, but they did.
Come on, I'll take you all down.
Now I don't get to fight onto the Payra, and that's okay. What we're going to do here is we are going to go into the Rimuru. He's going to counter. That should give me a trigger.
I'm just getting started.
Seems fine. Now, what can we do with all of this?
No matter how small its prey. Are you sure you can handle this?
Seems legit. I like it. There are some things that we can improve, of course. I didn't get the right amount of substats. I didn't get the rolls that I wanted to when I am trying for gear. We also went into a torrent set, which I wasn't really planning to do. So I've had to make some offsets. I've had to go in and change how I build the hero based on the gear that I have.
You're getting in my way.
This, I don't know if you guys know, 190% effectiveness. She not only resisted the pushback, but she also resisted the
I'll make you useful. I'll finish this soon.
what do you call that? That thing that you do that you get. It's the the silence. The silence. She so she resisted everything. That's fantastic. That's super great. What I want out of Zahak is he has to be good enough that he can kill this Shu. I'm working on his gear. It's not quite there. We should get pretty close, but I don't think it's going to happen. So she's going to live to go on the next round.
I shall present you with a chilling.
Because I hit Shu, the only hero left that has high HP should be Apocalypse Ravi. So this is what's going to trigger against Straws. And he has attack buff, so I don't expect her to live through that. Look at that, 11 HP. 11 HP. It's messed up, man. Totally messed up. And you lose Zio. 11 HP, you lose Zio. It's not right. It's not right. That's okay, we still win. What it means is that we'll have turn 2 comps up next. But I'd say a very successful Lionheart Cermia build. So what kind of gear does it take to actually build this hero? As we're looking at our gear with the reforged stats, we can see that we're ranging from 61 up to 75 gear score. So as you're going through your gear, we need to be able to subtract 11 from all of these gear scores, right? So we're getting anything in the range of 50 all the way up to 64. These are the kind of gear scores that you really need to be searching for in order to build this type of hero. You need to have something like 10 crit on all of your pieces. You need to have at least 20 or higher defense. You need to have some HP, some speed. I'm averaging on all of my pieces a 9 with the speed boots. I'm averaging on all of my pieces an 11 crit chance. And I'm averaging 4 HP, only 13. So I think the bulkier way is probably better. That's why we can see our example is really an amazing build. They were able to achieve 3,000 more health, 7 more speed, and 12 more crit chance. While I did get a little bit better on the attack, that's really not necessary, and I could probably make up a lot of this room. But really amazing gear. And these should be your targets as you're trying to build this hero. I thought she worked great. Definitely like her, but there are some improvements that we can make. Especially we see this necklace did not roll great. We have a 50 gear score. Our what we're actually achieving or trying to achieve is 55. So it's immediately under, right? We could get a better gear score here that would improve her and make her a much more viable hero. One last look at the lion. I did not get a chance to pull her when her banner came up, but thanks to this event, I was able to get the best girl. Now, as you can see, the gear, some of it rolled okay. We can definitely make improvements. I would like to see in the future to keep maybe a little bit more defense or even to pull in some more crit damage. That way we get some more onto that S3. But she performed exactly as expected, even though we're on torrent set, and I had fun using her, which is the most important part. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and helps you build your Lionheart so that you can use her in Epic 7. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.